and in your own time, please. Overall, how would you describe your mood? Your mood. How would you describe it? Happy, sad, good, bad. Whatever words you like. Mm-hmm. Let's see. And this feeling, the way you feel now, your mood, how you are. Why do you think that you've noticed this now, of all times? Why now? Not in this session, but in general. Why do you feel you've noticed the way you feel? What is it about now that has made this feeling apparent? And how does that make you feel? Overall. All right. Thank you. So, if this is how you feel overall, and that is why you think you have noticed it right now, what do you think? What do you think is the problem from your point of view? All right. No, thank you. Carry on. No, I understand. And is that important to you? Is it important to you? Right. Okay. No, you're doing great. Thank you. And thank you for being so patient. And thank you for explaining yourself so well. In your opinion, based on what you've told me, what would make it better? What would make the whole thing better? It's okay if you don't know. Now, with that in mind, what we just discussed, from your point of view and what you think would make it better. How does that affect your mood overall? How does it make you feel? You're doing very well. Thank you. So, humor me with a small exercise. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not at all, 10 being very much so, how happy would you say you were? Alright, no, same scale. So, 1 being not at all, and 10 being very much so. How sad would you say you were? You see, I know, it's a cheap trick. But you understand. It's about perspective, to understand better where we stand, so we can understand what we see, how we feel. Let me give you another example, please. If you wouldn't mind, and I know it can be difficult sometimes, I'm not asking you to remember something real that happened, but if you can, recall a nightmare or a troublesome dream from when you were a child. For me, it was always geography homework. Always. I would always have a nightmare about not having done my geography homework. I didn't like geography. I didn't care about it. I didn't even particularly like the teacher at high school. But for some reason, geography was this subconscious focal point for me. More to the fact that it was about not having done something. No, we're not interpreting dreams. Not today. You don't have to worry about that. I just want you to recall a nightmare or an anxiety dream or a stress dream from when you were a child, like the geography one. No, very good. Right. Now, with that in mind, what you just told me, I want you to tell me or explain to me how much power does that nightmare, that false memory, for lack of a better phrase, how much power does it have over you now? Is it important? Does it dictate what you do? Does it inform your decisions? Is it relevant at all? That childhood nightmare. Of course, recalling it brings up memories surrounding it, but what we're trying to do is to realize that this thing, this phantom from the past, holds no power over us. You understand? A childhood nightmare holds no sway over our adult life, or even our childhood life. It can be forgotten in a moment. Most dreams are forgotten upon waking. Nightmares less so, I find. You see what I'm trying to trick you into is thinking about things things from a slightly objective distance to quantify and qualify the control these things have over you, if they have any at all. Alright. So, bearing in mind everything we've just discussed and what kind of hold it might have on you and whatnot, I'd like you to tell me again, how is your mood overall? Right. Do you feel at all better having spoken about a powerless nightmare from your youth? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for being honest. No. On a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being very, very, 1 being not at all. How important was that nightmare to you? And the age-old question, how does it make you feel? Thank you. So, we all attribute power to things that perhaps do not have as much of a hold on us as we think they do. I'd like to, if it's alright with you, conduct an exercise. It's more of a game, really, but just something to test something out. No. Have you ever played something like Dungeons and Dragons or video games? So it's sort of like a role-playing game, not not an active one, not something we have to LARP or anything, but just playing with roles. Almost a character creation, right? That's just a silly exercise in trying out with people. If that's okay. Thank you. So I want you to, as we briefly looked into the past, I want you to think about the future, or now. Think about now, and yourself with it. I want you to have a picture in your head of what you perceive to be the ideal you. Your dream self, who you would love to be. Now, of course, if you're happy with yourself, then it won't be too far removed from how you are now. But if there are areas of dissatisfaction or things that you'd like to improve or change, those might come up. Do you understand? Good. Now, we're going to talk about different aspects of yourself that at first may seem a little contentious or possibly triggering for you. So if you don't want to talk about a particular part, don't worry. We can skip that and move on to the next one. All right. Good. Thank you. But speaking of D&D, let's start there. So remember, we're talking about your ideal self, Alright, so what would your strength be in the D20 system? Dexterity, constitution, wisdom, intelligence, and charisma. Now, as descriptively as you can, as graphically as you can, I'd like you to describe what your ideal you looks like. Take your time, it's alright. Or don't. Now, bearing in mind this is the ideal you, is there anything about yourself that might be considered by some to be intrinsic that you would like to change? For instance, shoe size, as a basic example. But you can expand this to other things if you like. Gender. If you wish to step out of the binary trope that we seem beholden to still, that's fine. Be whatever you want to be. Alright? Thank you. And finally, I'd like you to describe your character of your ideal self. What you would be like. This can be either how you behave, your actions, what you think, what you do, your beliefs, what you represent. Not job or anything like that. Nothing like that. No vocation. Just who you are. Why or what you do. Thank you. Alright, so you have, and I'm grateful for it, in great detail described yourself as you would like to be, yes, in terms of opinions, character, physicality, gender, everything you would aspire to be. Now what you described is beautiful, and what you described is true to yourself. And what you described is who you already are. What if I told you you were already these things that you aspire to be? There's the old saying, not being able to see the forest for the trees. That our own perspective is limited, blinkered by our own interpretation. There are many different psychological explanations for this. whether it's Freudian, Jungian, whatever, aliens, the idea of being an alien, not just as a repository for lack or need for faith, but also as an individual, feeling different, feeling abstract or disconnected from society, can be reinterpreted as being part of a different one. If you ever feel alienated, or as if you're looking in at something from the outside, perhaps adjust your perspective so that you're not looking inside from the outside, but you're looking from within something else. Now, I know that you'll think that, of course, it's nice for me to say this, to say that you are everything that you want to be, but there are things that need to change, perhaps, that you want to change, that haven't happened yet. Now, these things, of course, they need to happen so that you can be who you are. But that does not negate the fact that you are already you. And certainly the knowledge of what you want to be informs who you are. It means you have already, to some extent, achieved those things. So I want you to think for a second, if you'd be kind enough, about this ideal version of yourself. And I'd also like it, if you could, for a moment, think about the childhood nightmare that we discussed before. You remember? And I asked you, how much power does that nightmare hold over you as you currently are? And the truth is, none whatsoever. You are completely free of the tyranny of that geography homework from when you were in high school. I am, at least. But whatever that nightmare was for you, holds no power over you now. Now I want to ask you, this vision of your future, of your perfect self, how much power does that vision hold over you? You see, the thing is, you hold all the power over that vision. You are in complete control of that destiny. When you realize all the power resides within you, you are granted an incredible freedom to yourself, a freedom of expression and enjoyment that you deserve. And now we did a silly exercise about Dungeons and Dragons, statistics, and dreaming after we had spoken about nightmares. But these things hold no power over you. You have the power. So I'd like to ask you, overall, how is your mood today? You can be honest. And how does that make you feel? And why do you think you noticed how you feel? How do you think you can make it better? Now, how much power does all that have on you? You've already told me how you think you can make it better. which means that you have the ability to do so. And so, if you trust yourself, if you allow yourselves to be that dream you can make it happen. Now, I don't like words like problems or things that you can fix, because nothing is ever so simple. But things you can make happen, things you can do, and the way you feel about yourself. You have some say in that, and it is no lie when I say that you deserve to be happy. So, let us not let the past, the geography homework, or the future, the Dungeons and Dragons, control who you are, who we are now. Enjoy being you. Be happy. You've earned it. And all of this is work that never ends. There is no fix, no quick solution to it all. It's all work forever. But you should be proud that you're doing it. Alright. That's about all our time today. Thank you for today's session. I know it was a little strange. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you at the